Welcome to Bible Crafts for Kids. Today I want to introduce you to the Eternity card. This is truly an Eternity card. If you have been doing cards for any length of time, you've probably run into the Eternity fold. But today this card has been made into something different than a normal birthday card or get well card. This card is a get well card, a Bible tract, a toy decoder, a coloring page, a drawing page, a Christian living lesson. It is an encouragement to read the Bible. It has stickers. It has people praying for them. This card is truly an Eternity card. So let's take a look at it. In the beginning, we have the greeting and the get well sentiment. We open it up. We have a decoder ring, a decoder wheel, with the instructions to the decoder wheel. We have a message for them to decode. These four sentiments right here are a Bible tract. We continue. We open it. This is your Christian living message. They have a Bible or a coloring page, a drawing page. This little Matthew 5:14 through 16 tells them where to find this message in the Bible, or this message, I don't know how you say that, but it's the backup to this message. And so, because it's not written out, if they want to read that, they're going to have to go get their Bible. Now, on the other side, we have the stickers. And we have the people praying for that individual. And then it flips back again to the front. Now these template and labels are found on BibleCraftsForKids.com, and they are free for you to make this card. As I've said, the labels and the instructions to this are on, well, not the instructions. I haven't done the instructions, but this video tells you how to do it. But these labels and the templates are on BibleCraftsForKids.com, and they are a free download. Now, I print the pages in different colors. That gives the card the different colors for the labels, and it gives it much more interest. But there are 8 pages on this download. There are 4 labels, and there are 4 printed papers. The first page is the cover, or this one is a get well, and this one is a birthday, and then the wheels. Now these wheels are designed to cut out with spellbinders or framelit or dies. And so this is a 3.5-inch die, and this is a 3-inch die. This part I have printed in white so that they can color them. These I have printed in yellow, and this is the code breaker instructions that goes in the pocket. This one I printed on orange, which is the Christian message. And these I double-sided printed them so that you can have the exact same papers that I used for this card. Again, it is at BibleCraftsForKids.com, and it is a free download. I have been excited about this card. We have taken this card to the Children's Center at St. Francis Hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was so well received because the children have something to do with this card. Not only that, if this card was given to a 3-year-old that cannot read, it impacts the nurses or the parents or whoever reads this card to the child. In the envelope, we put a package of crayons, and we also put a pencil. And so it has been well received, and so now we're making it available to all. God directly inspired this card, and at the end of this video, after the instructions, I will give my testimony as to how God put this card together. So, to get started, let's go ahead and print our labels. Now that we've got our labels printed, let's begin to assemble this card. We're going to start with our printed paper, and we're going to cut those down to 8 by 8 squares, and then we're going to cut those squares into a 4 by 8 strips. And we need 4 strips. Now, you can use 12 by 12 sheets of paper, and it will cut 2 complete bases or 4 strips out of a 12-inch paper. And now we're going to cut it into 4-inch strips. Now for scoring, we're going to score each one of these strips at 2 inches. Now I score the first one, and then I turn it around and score the second 2-inch. This keeps this middle completely exactly the same, because there is some wiggle room in your scoring. And this gives you a more precise folding. After scoring your 4 by 8-inch strips, we're going to start constructing the base. Now what you'd like to do first is determine the paper that you want to be on the front of your card. I'm going to use this as the front of my card. Now, the key is to turn it over to get started. And we're going to place the score marks directly across from each other. And if you want to be real precise, you can find where it fits together and where it was cut together. Well, okay, there it is. Well, that took a minute. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to glue the corners. We want to glue these 4 corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some carpet tape. And we're going to we're not going to glue no more than 2 inches on the ends. I find this is very easy to do this base using the carpet tape. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lay this together, and then we're going to put these going crosswise, and we're going to glue the corners. Now, it's a little difficult. I have done this card with groups of children from ages kindergarten to groups of men and women, adults. And I have found that if I have these bases put together first and just take the groups to do the labels, then I have better success, because putting this together is a little tricky. What I have found also is if I lay my card together and put my strips together exactly how I want them with the front of the card face down, I'll use a little bit of Post-it note sticky, and I will stick it down. That keeps it from shifting while I am aligning this top portion right here. So let's go ahead and put it together. Don't have any fingernails here. I'm going to move this up a little bit so you can see a little better. And we're going to align the fold going with the split. So it's going crosswise now. And we're going to align the edges, and we're going to stick it down. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Aligning the corners and the edges, and we stick it down. Okay, so now we have the split. Split here and split here in the middle. Now we can remove our Post-it note. That's just to help us align it. And now we're going to crease the fold marks and the score lines. Using my bone folder, I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to roll it back until I expose those score lines, and I'm going to carefully fold on those score lines, and you'll be able to see them as it rolls in place. And then I take my bone folder and crease them. On this side, I'm going to gently roll it back, find my score marks, and crease them. Now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to roll these back, and I'm going to crease them. And I'm going to roll the additional side, roll it back, and then crease. Now I like to have, if I do a group and then we are back to the front, and there is our front of our card. Now when I'm doing groups, I like to have this part already put together. I like to have the folds in place, and what I do is I will put a sticky note right over this seam so that when I can tell them to start, they start with the front where the sticky note is and the slit going vertical. Then when they open it up, they are in direct proportions, or the correct page to do the decoder wheel. So now that we have our base put together, let's go ahead and cut out all of our labels. Let me add a little note about our labels. If you will notice, our labels are all lined in a row so that you can put them in any paper trimmer and line it up and make one quick cut. Now, on both sides, you'll be able to make those cuts very quickly and very simply. Now, as an example on this page, we were not able to put everything totally in line, but all these four are in line. And then these are the only ones that you have to cut. And you can actually cut them with scissors, but this you're able to cut right down the center and then be able to cut each additional line, still using your paper trimmer. Now when we come to the pocket holder, I have a little line that you can cut out by hand. I don't know if you can see it there. But also you can use a 1-inch circle punch and do the same thing. All we're doing is creating a thumb hole for that decoder instructions. Now when you come to the circles, they are designed to be cut with Spellbinders dies or freehand. With the large size circles, I use the large and the next to the large or the next size down to cut them. Now to be as precise as I can, I lay the label on the Spellbinders on top of the label, and then I use a little Post-it note label to hold it down as I run it through the Cuttlebug or Big Shot, whichever machine you have. And there's our big label. And now we'll do our small one. And we have our 2 circle labels. I want to zoom in here a little bit more so you can see these circles. But what we want to do is we want to poke a hole and use a brad to put these together. Now this is a very small brad, but we need the letters to line up so that they can use it as a decoder wheel. So we're going to take our A and we're going to line it with the A, and we're going to make sure all the letters are in line with each other. And we're going to take a needle tool and we're going to punch it through that hole in the center. The reason we do not punch a hole or to have a hole in the back circle is because we want to make sure that this gets perfectly aligned. You insert your brad and fold the flaps, and then your circle is complete. And your wheel turns and all your letters are aligned perfectly. Now the last element is the code breaker instructions. You'll need to punch a hole in the top, and using a small string, fold it in half, poke it through the hole, open the hole, and put your tails, thread your tails through the hole. That way they can remove the code breaker instructions from the pocket. Now, I've said before I do this card with so many groups, and when I do, I like to put together kits. Now, if I was going to do this card just for myself and I was only going to do 1 or 2 cards, I probably would not separate them into different bags. But let me go ahead and what we'd like to do is take the card and the first 2 labels and put them in a gallon-sized bag. Now the rest of the labels, we want to group them. There will be 3 other bags. The first set will have the decoder wheel, all of the little labels, the message, decoded message, the code breaker instructions, the pockets. This is basically what is on the second page, and I put that and I bag it by itself. The third page, I do the exact same thing. Now the third page has the coloring and the drawing and its Christian message. Then the last page has the stickers and the We're Praying For You cards. Now, these stickers I purchased from Mrs. Grossman's. And they came on a 2-inch roll, and I think I paid $70 for, I think there were 200 sets of these stickers, which brought the cost down of the card very, very cheaply. And so those will go in with the We're Praying For You. Now let me mention that We're Praying For You. I put this on the card because you have to sign the card. Now, when I start teaching a group, I send this card around with each individual person and they sign their name. It is the last thing that goes on the card, and yet everyone who is in the group will be able to sign it. This personalizes it quite a bit for the kids, like in a hospital or another group. And that will be our third bag. And all 3 of these will go in the kit. And so it's easy as a teacher to say, okay, pull out page 2. And what I like to do sometimes is just write a number on the bag so that they know which bag is which. If I use all the same color on page 2, then I will say just pick out your yellow bag. But now that creates the kit for this Eternity card. Now let's assemble the card. I'm going to be using glue for this demonstration, which is just the craft glue, but you can also use Aleene's Tacky Glue in this small bottle. I find it is great for little kids because this bottle is not too tough to push for them. I also have cut off the top of a pop bottle as a holder, which keeps the glue in the ready position. Now, if you're using and teaching kindergartners, you may want to use a different type of double stick tape. Like I said, I can use carpet tape, red liner tape. This here is Sook Wang tape. Very strong hold, very good bond. You can also use your Xyron sticker maker. Except for the larger pieces, this fits just fine. Now to start, we're going to take out our elements out of our kit. I have the kids, so many times have had the kids sit on the floor, and then we will construct the card on the floor. That way they can lay out all their bags in front of them, and then I tell them which one to do at which time. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our card is in the vertical position, and the open side has 6 sections. So let's start by placing our sentiment labels right on the front. And we want to place that between the fold lines. Now, of course, if you want to add any other embellishments, feel free to do it. You've got plenty of real estate right here to add any little stars or circles or stickers or whatever. But let's go on to page 2. Now we're going to open it. We tell them to pick it up, slide their thumbs under, and fold it back. If they do not have 6 sections, then you need to stop as a teacher and make sure that you get the fold at the correct place. Then we tell them to go ahead and get bag 2 and pour out its contents. And we're going to start with the pocket. Now the pocket needs to be just glued very simply on the outside edges. Now, a lot of times I will put double stick tape in this area so there is no, the kids won't put the glue all in the inside. I make sure that they just do it on the outside edge. And then I have them insert the code breaker instructions. Now you may want to let that dry just a little bit, and that's fine. You can go ahead and do the instructions the last. But then we want to take our wheel and we want to glue it on top of the pocket. And next will be our message that they need to decode. Now, what's great about this decoder wheel is they can create their own messages. All they have to do is assign a new key to the message that they want to do. And that is all in these codebreaker instructions. And here's our Bible track. It goes, in the Bible we find a wonderful promise. John 3:16 says that God loves you and me. He loves everyone in your family. He loves your neighbors. In fact, He loves everyone in your city. Yes, His love is so big it reaches to everyone in the whole world. And God did something to prove it. He gave His only Son Jesus to save everyone who believes in Him. Now all those people can live in heaven forever if they just trust Jesus. What a wonderful promise. And then John 3:16. And Jesus loves you. Now another way of doing this is to print this one in white, and they can color this heart any color they would like. Now the great thing about this is if it is for a small child, someone will have to read this to them. And whoever reads this is contacted with this message as well. And so to me this is just so exciting because it impacts so many people. The nurses, the doctors, whoever it comes into contact will read this message. Okay, this is page 2. Now another, if you print 4 copies of these labels, you can change these labels out to be different colors. I didn't do it in this one, but I have done it previously. So then we want to tell the kids to open it up from the center and fold it back and turn it to the right. And we open our page 2. And we place our sunshine on the top section. That gives them a sunshine to color, which goes with the Christian message. Then we place our drawing card on the bottom, which also says you may use the stickers on the following page. And so they will turn to get those stickers. Now, you can barely see it, but there are 6 sections. Now we have 4 small sections and 2 large sections. Now, we're going to start with the large sections, and we're going to use the 2 strips. Every morning, the bright yellow sun comes up. As the sun begins to shine, the darkness goes away. Jesus said that we should be like sunbeams. We are to bring light into the world. And those fit right in the center of that center section. When we tell the truth, we bring light into the world. When we are kind, we bring light into the world. And when we tell our friends about God's love, we bring light into the world. Yes, Jesus wants us to shine just like a sunbeam. I am reminded of the children we originally made this for were cancer patients. And so this gives them an opportunity to do things that they probably wouldn't want to do when we are kind. And so when that individual child is kind to one of the nurses or the doctors, they feel good inside, and it is an encouragement to them. And so it's such an exciting thing that it gives them the opportunity to be a Christian witness. And now, Jesus said we are to be a light in the world. That's just a statement. Jesus' followers do good things to honor him. It's a statement. It is a kind of a command. Shine for Jesus. Now, Matthew 5:14 through 16, these verses are not written out anywhere on this card. So if anybody wants to know what that says, they're going to have to go find a Bible and look it up. Now for the last page, we simply slip it over. We place our cards. Now, the cards have been going around the room and everybody's been signing them. Or if I send this as a single, I sign my name here. It says, we are praying for you, meaning my husband or whatever. Now, these stickers I have prepared with double stick tape on the back or glue. It doesn't matter. But you do not want to take them off of their release paper. They will not be able to pull them off if they are stuck directly to the card. So you want to leave them on the release paper and simply stick them to the card. And that is page 3, and we are back to the front. And now our pocket is dry enough to insert our code breaker instructions. And we have our card. Please join me for my testimony as to how God inspired me to put this card together.